Well, Penn State's compiling its list of coordinators, and now Brennan Marion has emerged as a possibility and someone that Penn State has inquired about. Brennan Marion's the current offensive coordinator at UNLV. They just made the Mountain West championship game and finished 9-3 in the regular season. They'll go to a bowl game. And Marion, already as a young football coach at the age of 36, has a very intriguing background. He's the architect of a new and up and coming offense that has been in the works, but he's slowly perfected and crafted over time here. The go-go offense. That is a new one, but he is the architect, the mastermind behind it. And Penn State has inquired about him. So unlike the Manny Diaz situation here, where Manny Diaz to Duke are simply rumors and speculation, there is confirmation here that Penn State has inquired about interviewing Brennan Marion for the open offensive coordinator spot. Marion is open for the Broyles Award given to the top assistant coach in college football. And there's pros and cons with Brennan Marion being the next Penn State offensive coordinator. We'll start with the pros because you want to give Doctor, give me the good news and then the bad news, right? I'll start with the good news here. The pros of bringing on Brennan Marion as the next offensive coordinator, and this will help lay out his background as a coach too. He has a proven success rate. He's been in a lot of locations, a lot of destinations, but every stop that he's made, he's shown proven success. Let's just take UNLV specifically because this is where he is the full offensive coordinator. He helped lead them to a 9-3 team in just one season. No, he's not the head coach, but that offense that held them back a season ago in 2022 when they were 3-5 in conference, 5-7 overall, did not make a bowl game. 1 year later, the offense goes from not so great to one of the better ones in the country. UNLV's offense in 2023 is ranked 40th in terms of total offense, top 50. That's very impressive for a Mountain West team. So you look at 2022, 3-5 in conference, now conference championship appearance in one season and one change, right? This didn't take time. He came in right away and they saw success. And then 26 points per game last season, now 35.5 points per game. That's really impressive. That truly is. The second pro of bringing on Marion to Penn State is he's a wide receiver guru. So, okay, what do we all know that Penn State struggled with this season was the production at the wide receiver spot. Penn State's biggest problem on offense this season was wide receivers getting open and making big plays. I feel like teaming up with the wide receiver coach already at Penn State, Marcus Hagans, would be unfair. I really think it would be. Just think about that. Those two masterminds for the wide receiver position getting together and collaborating like this would make a lot of sense. He played wide receiver in college. Marion did, right? Both of them, but Marion did as well. And then he was a former wide receiver coach at Hawaii, Pittsburgh, Texas. Those are impressive stops. So combine the prep, the practice, the game planning of these two guys together. I think you're going to see a lot of success if he's brought in as the OC for Penn State and those two working together. You will get more production out of the wide receivers and the passing game as a result with your 5-star quarterback in Drew Aller. And let's look at the tangible part of this rather than the speculation or the thought that this could be successful. At UNLV, leading wide receiver Ricky White was averaging 17.1 yards per catch. That was 55th in the nation and not too far behind Marvin Harrison Jr. A third pro here for Brennan Marion to coach at Penn State is he's from Pennsylvania. He's from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. He was born in Virginia, but he's from Pennsylvania. Greensburg-Salem High School is his alma mater, and he was the head coach at Waynesboro Area High School in 2014. Central Pennsylvania, right? So he's familiar with the area. I really like familiarity in these instances, as you can tell. So those are a few of the pros. A few of the cons bringing in Brennan Marion, because I like this candidate. I do, but I don't know how sold I am on it because of the few of the cons here. Limited head coaching experience, and this depends what direction Penn State wants to go in, because I think Jay Sider's a legitimate candidate. I think Brennan Marion's a legitimate candidate here, but where does Penn State value head coaching experience? Because James Franklin has said that he needs a head coach of recruiting, defense, special teams, wide receivers, you name it. He wants a head coach-like figure at each spot. Well, Brennan Marion doesn't exactly have the head coaching experience. Those are James Franklin's words, not mine, as far as what he wants as the head coach of each position group and each unit. We saw how valuable Joe Moorhead's head coaching experience at Fordham came to be when he was the head coach of the offense at Penn State, when he was the offensive coordinator here. Is James Franklin willing to sacrifice some of his other priorities to work closely with Marion, because you're going from the Mountain West to the Big Ten? Okay. Marion has been a head coach. He has been, but only at the high school level and for 2 consecutive years. 1 year at one high school, 1 year at Waynesboro, back to back. And albeit he is only 36, so you can only stack up the resume so much, but he has an impressive resume from where he stopped. Like I said, Hawaii, Texas, Pittsburgh, all along. The next drawback that I have here is because, okay, that resume is getting lengthier, and there are a lot of impressive accolades there. Longevity concerns, and I think this is the case with any potential offensive coordinator that Penn State brings in. Are they going to use this as a stepping stone, and how long will they actually stick around? We knew this with Manny Diaz. We knew this with Joe Moorhead. Ricky Ronnie saw a head coaching opportunity. There's the good and the bad with that. Coordinators leaving because you don't have that consistency, but you want those guys to move on, and it will entice coordinators and other assistant coaches to want to come to Penn State to have that additional success. I understand capitalizing on your worth and moving up, but how long would Brennan Marion actually stay in Happy Valley? I think, like I said, I think that's a concern with any offensive coordinator candidate here, but doesn't exactly stay long in one location. It doesn't stick around for very often. And this is just on his resume, right? This isn't speculation. He has had a different job every single year since 2011, other than being the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Howard, where he was there for 2 years. Okay. So it's not like he was there for 4 or 5. He was there for, as opposed to 1. So just 1 year at every stop along the way. That's a bit concerning. It is. So is he going to come to Penn State, do what, 1 season, maybe 2 seasons? I would like to think there's a 3 to 5 year plan in this case, but who knows? I don't know exactly what Marion's interests are. Does he want to be a head coach? Does he see the offensive coordinator spot at Penn State? Does that for maybe 5, 6, 7 years, like a Brent Pry, and then moves on to a head coaching spot? That's the ideal. That's the ideal scenario here, but we don't know for sure. And then the final thing is, and maybe it has to do with the fact of Mike Yursich, and the lack of success here still lingers and still kind of hurts, is would this offense work in the Big Ten? Well, that's great that it can work at William and Mary. That's great that it can work at Howard. That's great that it can work at Waynesboro High School. And it can work at UNLV in the Mountain West. But would it work in the Big Ten? The Big Ten is already as difficult as it is, right? And now it's expanding in 2024 to add not exactly low caliber programs. You're getting the best of the best from the former Pac 12, UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington. They're all joining. How does the offense stack up there? And maybe you want to go in that direction because all those programs have really good offenses. But we finally realized, okay, Mike Yursich's offense was good in the Big 12, but not exactly the Big 10. And in the Big 12, they don't exactly play any defense. So the Big 10 gave a little bit of a reality check to Mike Yursich's offense. Different story. I get that. And the go-go offense is unique. I'm actually eager to study it a little more and learn about it and what it can be, because it's got some interesting wrinkles to why it has been successful every stop of the way. But at some point, is it going to continue to break through the glass ceiling, or is there going to be a lid on it? My verdict: I think he's a rising star. I think he's a solid candidate for the job. But if there are better options, Penn State should go in a different direction. It's not that I wouldn't want Brennan Marion, but if maybe your first or second choices aren't there, and then maybe Brennan Marion, and that's the thing, would you choose him? Maybe it's down to J1 Sider and Brennan Marion. Who would you select? I feel like you would have to lean J1 Sider because of that consistency. Would you really want to push Sider to the side to bring in someone? You've been there for 5+ years, and a newcomer just jumps you on right? That doesn't make any sense on the coaching hierarchy. At least that doesn't make any sense to me. However, Penn State could be thinking differently. That is Brennan Marion, UNLV offensive coordinator, and Penn State is legitimately interested in him.